Take my money, leave me broke. Ain't this life such a terrible joke? I know you're angry, I would be too. I never once set out to bury you, oh yeah. I've been a liar, I've been a cheat. I let the devil sweep me on my feet. I said I'm
You know,
sorry.
I've always been influenced by classic rock, but I feel like in previous things I've released and my album from 2022 didn't really have that as like the primary kind of sound that I was trying to go after. And so with this album, I feel like I kind of like had the sort of country genre take more of a backseat and have this sort of like classic rock and like sounds from like the 70s was really what we were trying to like kind of bring out in these songs, just because, you know, that's the music I grew up with. You know, that's like the music that has inspired me like from a very young age, and kind of the music that made me fall in love with music to begin with. And country music is something that kind of came a little bit later to me in life. And so I think I'm just trying to, with this album, kind of reconnect with kind of my roots and, you know, what inspired, you know, 16-year-old me.
Working with Mackenzie on the record was a great experience. Mackenzie has a deep understanding of writing for a band, how a band works well together, and how to bring out the personalities of each player so that we elevate each other.
I think the ghost of rock and roll to me is the unexplained and unseen force that drives one to keep going. You know, everyone in their life has a purpose of some sort. For some of us, it's to create. For other people, it's to nurture, to care. Everyone has their purpose, and the ghost of rock and roll is, I think, for every young musician or every young music fan coming up, you know, we've romanticized this sort of past idea of the like golden age of music. At least I have, and kind of just the days of like these bands, you know, from the 60s and 70s traveling around and playing shows and just causing a ruckus and being crazy and getting into stuff. And I'm not necessarily trying to go insane and do a bunch of drugs and lose my mind. But I am still drawn to the idea of kind of living free and living that sort of lifestyle that you're just, that has freedom. I think freedom is something that a lot of people crave, and not many people can really achieve, you know. And total freedom in life is very hard to achieve, but freedom in some way is something that I've always been drawn to. And so the ghost of rock and roll, I think, is the thing that keeps me going. You know, I have for many times, for years, like I ask all the people in my life how many times I've been like, all right, I'm giving this up. I'm going and getting another job. You know, this is too hard. You know, the music industry is just like a big bad monster, and like, I don't want to be a part of it. I go through this like regularly. Happened to me last week. You know, it's happening all the time. But it's kind of, I think it's the ghost of rock and roll that is just like haunting me and like keeping me going.
Honestly, the record produced itself. The band's so good. You know, we had spent sufficient time in pre-production that by the day we got here, all the major decisions were already made. That's why we were able to track it so fast and finish it so fast, because, every inch of every song had been, considered with attention and care from every member. And, some of the catchiest parts of the record come from Caroline. Some of the other catchiest parts come from Matt, And, the record arranged itself. The record produced itself. It's really the work of the band.
The general kind of vibe and how I want my listeners to feel after listening to the album is, empowered, and I think maybe resilient, and feeling just kind of like pumped up a little bit. A lot of these songs have these kind of strong messages of, you've done me wrong in some way, or I'm mad about the situation, or I'm frustrated, and those are the things that do kind of drive me and kind of inspire a lot of my songwriting, is kind of those strong emotions. Like with Last Call, that is a song that is very angry, and Hot American Red Blood, kind of same thing. And I've been through some situations that have upset me. Take My Money is one of them. But, also I'm like the first to admit, like, when I have been the wrongdoer in the situation. And I want to kind of make that clear in my songwriting. And so I want, people to hear these songs and be like, okay, like, no matter how you've like messed up or what you've done wrong in your life, like, you could take those things and you can turn them into something badass.
There are two sides to us. There's the creative side, the flow state, where your great inspirations and ideas come from. And then there's your other side, which is the editor, the critic. And they're both valid. They both have merit making music. So when you make a record, you just have to figure out how to flow when you need to flow, and how to edit when you need to edit. Yeah, and this record was a good encapsulation of doing both of that. Like, when we're in the practice room, we're flowing. We're trying stuff, we're flowing. But then when me and Mackenzie are in Pro Tools editing between all these vocal takes, like, oh, that one. It is a different side, but it needs to be there. There needs to be the critic that's like, nah, dude, Matt was right, that part's better. And then you cut your own shit out of the song. You know what I mean? You have to like let your ego go sometimes and just be fine with it. That's the editor side. And they're both good. You just have to like keep the editor out of the way when you're flowing. And when you're editing, get rid of the flow guy.
I did find the final version of Ghost of Rock and Roll here, and I wrote final version, and this page is falling out. But yeah, this was done in August of last year, and this is after many, many revisions and many, many changes. And then even this is totally not the final version, because I wrote a whole bridge that that is not a part of the song. But yeah, like that's like after this comes after like so much work. Like, writing a song is not easy. At least it's not for me. And I don't think that writing a good song should be easy. That I have a line in Rich Man that says nothing good comes easy. And I really, truly believe that you have to work for things that are worth working for. But also, with that being said, on the next page, I have Broken Jukebox Blues. And this song came to me in almost an instant. And that's why it's the last song on the album. And it's just kind of the sort of fun, goofy one that's just the sing-along and the sort of lighthearted one to end the album on. the album cover and the art and the kind of visuals around any album are very important, because they need to be kind of representative of who you are as an artist, and kind of the sound of the album. It needs to sort of match. And so when someone sees the album cover, they like kind of get the vibe that you're going for. And that's kind of hard to do. It's sort of hard to like self-diagnose, like, okay, like what is the proper like visual representation of this? But thankfully, you know, there are other people, designers, creatives that, you know, specialize in that. And so we were fortunate enough to work with Darren Higgins, who is a designer here in Richmond, who does really great work. And he really took the reins on kind of the creative direction of as far as the album goes. You know, I knew that I wanted a picture of us. I knew that I wanted something that says we're a band. You know, it's not just Mackenzie Roark, singer-songwriter. It's a band, you know, and it sounds like, you know, when you listen to it, it sounds like a band. It's not singer-songwriter type music. Darren kind of like gets that. And so he really did a good job of putting it together, and making it look kind of old, but also new. Katie Condon, I don't know how to say her last name. Katie, she did the picture for it, and she did all of our kind of like press photography for this. So a lot of the images associated with this album are by her, and she did an awesome job with that. And they are just really kind, wonderful people who are very talented, and we're lucky to call friends and super fans. And so, yeah, I'm really pleased with how everything came out. It's very bold. It's you know, it's red, it's black, it's gold. It's like these sort of classic colors of like fire and passion. We made this album, or are making this album, at Red Amp Audio in Richmond. I've never done any recording here before, other than one small video project years and years ago. And so working with Jody has been a new experience. And yeah, he's the sound engineer and the you know, owner operator of this studio. And it has been great. I mean, we knocked out like the bulk of the recording in like 3 days. And Billy, who's my guitarist, keyboardist, backup singer, you know, in the band, kind of right-hand man in the band, honestly, he's really taken kind of producer ownership of this album. And it's, I feel really fortunate to have him, because he adds so much. He's really, really knowledgeable about the whole process. Now it's kind of like me and Billy are working together on making these decisions. And you know, he's produced a lot of music before, just his own stuff, and has done a really great job. So I really like that this album is more or less going to be self-produced, with the help of Jody, of course, and some professional, you know, mastering people who will take that over. But it's been really cool, this whole process. Just working here at Red Amp has been amazing. Incredible studio and facilities and everything. And we've used like just so many cool instruments, amps, you know, different microphones. I got to play all these really cool guitars for all the songs. And so it's just been a lot of fun.
Good singer.
Mackenzie's got a great voice. You know that if you're watching this video. Be sure to get the shorts in the shot.
They're in.
In a
to do a little woo song. I actually thought about asking everybody to bring a blindfold.
Yeah. Blind
Start really take it in.
My favorite part of making records is sitting in the chair in front of the big board.
Can you elaborate?
No.
Rolling. Billy, what was it like working with Mackenzie on the album?
Let's see. We got on Ghost of Rock and Roll for the piano. I got the piano first take.
1, 2, 3, 4.